I grew up in Vancouver Island, in British Columbia, and I was the youngest of 6 children. Well, I still am the youngest of 6 children. Nothing changed there. And I remember the day that I got my first bike. My parents had sold my swing set because they said I was too big for that, and they bought me a bike. This was not a fancy bike. It was blue. Had the, the kind of brakes, and none of these fancy handle brakes. Did not have a banana seat, did not have the big handles. It was nothing. But it was my bike. First thing I think I'd really owned. Now, the house that I grew up in was the Trans-Canada Highway on the island. It wasn't as busy as it is now, but it was still fairly busy. And the house was here, and the road went this way, and it went around the corner a little bit like this. And then the ocean was right over here. And I used to like to go to the beach. And way back when I was a little kid, I could leave like that. My parents didn't worry that I was going to get kidnapped or murdered or anything. They knew that I was going to be safe. The only thing I had to promise was that I would not ride my bike on the highway. And I was like, yes, Mom, I won't ride my bike on the highway. I'd walk it around the corner, and as soon as I was out of reach, I was on my bike. And I'd be flying down the highway. Now, back in those days, I didn't have bicycle helmets. I had hair down to here, and it was blonde. And it would fly behind me. And then I'd get to where I had to cross the highway, and I'd get off my bike and I'd walk, and then I'd be on the road to the beach. And I would ride up and down and up and down that road, my hair flying behind me, big smile on my face, because that's where I was free and I was happy. And then I'd find the perfect place to stop, and I would go to the beach, and I'd sit, and I'd just be like, this is the best place in the world. And then I'd start to dig in the sand to find treasures, because I kind of wanted to be an archaeologist at that point, I think. And I'd be looking for treasures. And I would bring home little shells and big shells, shells that sometimes had clams still in them. Sometimes I brought little baby crabs home that were still alive. But my parents were okay with that because they knew I was happy. And I tell you, at that point, that's when I was probably the happiest of my life, when I was free. I would sit at the beach and I would just be, this is me. But you can't stay 7 forever. So I grew up. And as I was growing up, I was watching my mom. Now, my mom was the quintessential housewife. She baked once a week all the stuff that we would need for our lunches. She did laundry every day. She swept the floor, I swear to God, 3 times a day. She did all our laundry. She helped us do our homework. She was the mom that I wanted to be. So as I was growing up, I thought, that's my dream, right? The archaeologist, the nurse, the actress, whatever it is, that's all gone, because I'm going to be like my mom. That didn't happen that way, because while I was growing up, it became to that point in time where women could be a stay-at-home mom, but they could also have a career. But they still had to do the mom stuff. So I left home at 19. I met the man who became my husband. We fell madly in love. I moved to Germany. We got married. We had 2 beautiful children when we came back to Canada. And I thought, here it is. Here's my dream. I got it. I have succeeded. But there was something missing, and I did not know what it was. So I thought, I'm going to get a job. So I worked a couple of jobs. I sold Avon when my daughter was a baby. I would walk up and down the roads, dropping off those little catalogs, because I thought that was going to fulfill me. And then when I was pregnant with my son, he was sitting over there. I worked in a muffin shop in the mall, and I used to ride my bike while I was pregnant to the mall. And then there was just something more. So then I went back to school for the first time, and I became a medical office assistant, and I thought, here I am, I've done it. I've got the perfect children, I've got the house, I've got the husband, and I've got a job that I love. Still something missing. And then we moved to northern BC. And if you can think now, we've moved a lot. A lot. My poor son, I think we figured out that before he was 5, he'd been in 7 houses. Because that's how much we moved. Because there was always something missing. And this past weekend at the retreat that we were all at was all about the inner child. And I've been doing a lot of inner child work in the last few weeks. My little Fiona just keeps popping up. She just keeps raising her head, and she's out here fully now, having fun. But what I didn't know was way back when all of that stuff was happening in my life, little Fiona would just kind of peek her head out a little bit. Let's go have some fun, let's go have some fun. But Fiona, who was the mom, the wife, the social worker eventually, you know what, no, little Fiona, you can't do that. You have to behave. Because there's things that have to happen in your life. And that was until about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, 2015, was the year that I lost my job. My husband had a heart attack. My dog died. My mom died. My husband was then diagnosed with PTSD. This was the shittiest year in my whole life. And little Fiona was just gone. Couldn't find her anywhere. The next year, we're thinking, okay, this is going to be better. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. And we kind of coast through 2016. And then 2017 comes along, we're okay, yeah, this is going to be good. It's going to be good. We sell our house, buy a condo, and my husband moves out. But you know what? That was a gift he gave me. He gave me a gift. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.